If you haven't had an opportunity to watch Banshee's Season 2 finale, Bullets and Tears, stop listening now. Major spoilers, here we go. Before we can even begin to talk about this amazing episode, I have to go to the backstory of Rabbit. And I'll begin with Rabbit's marriage to Anna's mom, okay? You remember when Banshee starts, they have this little sequence, man, where Anna's laying on the side and she says, "Just breathe." Or usually you'll hear "just breathe." Those words, they're spoken before the episode airs, man. And I was always wondering, like, what does that mean? What is that all about, you know? Here's where it comes in at, ladies and gentlemen. This is what I love about this show, man. Before Rabbit dies... Before Rabbit dies, man, he tells this story about Anna's mother. He says, when he met and married her mother, I couldn't stop shaking. I thought I might pass out. Well, Anna's mom, in response to, I guess, noticing Rabbit's his emotions and his reaction and seeing that he was unstable, Anna's mom says, "Just breathe." And from that moment on, she was the calming mechanism inside of him. But once she died, he says, something in me broke when she died. So now we understand, a little bit about this, how do you want to say, this dysfunction, this insanity that is Rabbit, okay? We know that it's passion because he loves his daughter, but we also know that it's like this reckless rage of trying to almost control a situation that he has no control over, you know what I'm saying? And that's just, I guess you could say, who his daughter loves, the decisions his daughter makes, seeking revenge on his daughter. I mean, just, there's many different ways you can kind of take that, but we kind of understand why Rabbit is the way he is. And then you feel this pain for him, man. You feel this pain for him. And tonight it was so crazy, man. It was just, I can't even really describe this episode, man. It started out, the episode starts out, Bullets and Tears. It starts out with the flashback episode. And we get to see Rabbit, Anastasia, Lucas Hood, and Ulrich. And Ulrich is the guy from season 1 who, at the end of season 1, as you follow him and see him tracking, he finds Job. Job's the one that, pressed the detonator and you thought that he killed Ulrich, but Ulrich survived out of the explosion. Then all of a sudden you see Anastasia and Ulrich, they get into this huge fight, and Anastasia's stabbed, and almost dies, but then she turns around and she takes this wood and she sticks it in his spine, pretty much just ripping his spine off, snaps his spine in half, and then that's how Ulrich dies. But you get to go back in the past and see this young Ulrich, this young Anastasia. You get to see this young Lucas Hood and this young Rabbit with black hair. And it's just crazy because, they really took their time. The makeup department, the cinematography team, all this stuff came together. And it's so brilliant, man. It looked perfect, man. Like you actually felt like you were back, like, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 years in the past. And most likely you were about maybe 15 to 16, maybe 17 years old, maybe even 18 years in the past because of Dava's age. I think Dava's like 16 or 17 years old in the story, but regardless of that, you get to see their relationship. You get to see how at one point Lucas and Rabbit were really close. Anastasia and Ulrich, you get to see that relationship and kind of understand how almost obsessed Ulrich was with Anastasia. He wanted something from her, as in like a love type interest, but she didn't want to necessarily give anything back. So she was almost like rejecting him in a sense. Okay, you get to see how Ulrich and Lucas Hood were like these buddies, man. Almost like, I guess you can call it like a cop type team, if you will, if you're putting them on a team, like almost like bad boys. They were really good friends, man. They boxed together, they worked out together, they trained together. And then you fast forward in the future after all that stuff happened, and what I mean by stuff is that Lucas Hood went to prison because he turned himself in, trying to lead the police away from Anna because of their love. Well, check this out, man. It turns out that Lucas and Anna really didn't make a mistake. It was, and I'm pretty sure we already knew this, but I mean, they really told you tonight without beyond a shadow of a doubt. Rabbit called the cops on Lucas and Anna. He reported the robbery. They got caught because of that. Everything that Lucas Hood has went through it's not because of Anna. Anna didn't betray him like we all thought, you know what I'm saying? And what we, I guess, kind of assumed because of, you know, how everything was worded in season 1. All of a sudden now we understand, you know, as we get to the end of Rabbit's chapter, as his book closes on his life, all this stuff spills out, man. Rabbit called the cops because, to me, it kind of seemed like Ulrich kind of put a little bit of, you know, planted a little bit of seeds in his ear. But he asks Anastasia, he says, you wouldn't hide anything from me, would you? Yeah, you wouldn't keep something from me now, would you? And then she replies back, no, Daddy, I never do that or whatever. And he just looks at her like, I know that you're lying. And she knows that. So they kind of, you know, show you this scene where Anna and Lucas are laying in the bed together. Anna says, you know, he knows, and Lucas is like, nah, he doesn't know, everything's going to be okay. And then we understand, you know, after that incident, you know, he, you know, allowed them to go on the mission to get the diamonds. And then as they were going to get the diamonds, and, you know, they probably called him up and said, hey, we got the diamonds, whatever, we're heading out. He called in the police, called the robbery, and then they got caught. Well, you know, Lucas got caught. All right. Then all of a sudden, man, what happens in the episode, I'm going to kind of bounce around a little bit. I don't want to really necessarily go in order because, let's just be honest, it's going to be sad. Because tonight's episode was sad, man. I'm not going to lie. It was one of the saddest episodes I've ever watched on television, to be honest, because you care about these characters and then so many of them pass away tonight. It was just crazy, man. Like, oh my gosh. All right, let's stay focused. Let me kind of read some of my favorite quotes from Rabbit. All right, and these quotes, man, kind of put everything together and kind of show you how Rabbit is, man. You know, like I don't think he necessarily, you know, wanted his life to end. I don't think he necessarily wanted the situation between him and Anna to end like this. But check this out, man. He says, "I'm sorry, Anastasia. I hope in death I can give you some of the peace I stole from you in life." That was my, you know, Russian accent or, you know, whatever. But he says, "I'm sorry, Anastasia. I hope in death I can give you some of the peace I stole from you in life." And check this out, man. They find Rabbit sitting on this bench behind the church of his brother, Ulrich. And, excuse me, Ulrich. And, Anna and Lucas, they walk to the back of the church with their guns ablazing. Anna has the gun in front of Rabbit's face, and the first thing I thought, I was like, man, this is it. This is the end, man. You know, and I kind of get nervous a little bit. You know, I don't really know how to react because, you know, from the beginning of this episode tonight, the finale, until the point that you see Rabbit again, you know, you kind of side with Rabbit because he's not that bad of a guy, you know? It was almost as if his hands were tied, man, that he couldn't do any other thing. He couldn't react any other way. He loves his daughter, he loves his family, and it seemed as if they betrayed him. And you know, now that, you know, the last little bit of how do you want to say it? Control, or the last thing that kind of calms his life down was his daughter, who came from, you know, his wife, who is now dead. And all he wants to be able to do is to be calm and rational, but he can't react that way because his calming mechanism has been taken away from him and he's been deceived. You know, it wasn't because, oh my gosh, you know, he had a problem with Anna loving Lucas. No, it was because she lied to him, you know, and then all of a sudden, you know, Anna, she sits down on the bench. Rabbit tells Anna the story about when he, you know, when he married his mother, right in the same area, just in the back of this church where he's about to die at. Then after that, he says that, I'm sorry, Anastasia. I hope that in death, man, I can give you some peace, give you some of the peace I stole from you in life. Anna takes the gun. She empties out the clips, okay? She empties out the bullets from the clip. She places one bullet back into the clip, places the clip back into the gun, you know what I'm saying? Locks and loads it, passes the, check this out, man. She passes the gun to Rabbit. And in response to that quote, I'm sorry, Anastasia, I hope in death I can give you some of the peace I stole from you in life. She says, time will tell. She grabs the side of his head. She kisses his forehead. She says, goodbye, Daddy. And she walks away. I mean, I'm sitting here, man, I don't even really know what to do at this point besides just my jaw is dropped. I'm like, you don't know what to say. All of a sudden, man, Rabbit is left there with Lucas Hood. Okay, Lucas Hood, I guess, is kind of there to make sure that he does the job because, Anastasia, she just left. Rabbit looks at Hood. Hood looks at Rabbit. Rabbit says, you look at me and remember, somewhere in the future, there's a bench just like this one waiting for you. Then Lucas replies, go to hell. Rabbit says, okay. Puts the pistol to his head and blows his brains out, man. And he's dead. He's gone, man. His body goes limp on the bench, and then that's it, man. It's like, I mean, seriously, like, it was almost like you're reading a book. You close the book up, the chapter's done, it's over, the ending, man. And I don't really know how to feel about that, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I think it's justice. I really do. But I think that, oh my gosh, man, like, going forward, man, there has to be a price to pay, man, for this. And here, and I'll get to that a little later on, because inside Banshee, what is so beautiful about the story is that every single action has a reaction, okay? And every single, every single act of justice, what we perceive as justice or think is justice, whether it's violent, whether it's justified, it has a reaction, man. And there are consequences to you deciding what justice is, man. I can't even really explain it or say anything more than that, because what happens next in the story is it's so troubling, man. Like, I have a hard time, even talking about this next thing, man. And before I go there, I'm gonna end this clip. I'm gonna end this podcast, man. We'll come back. We'll start talking about it a little bit more. But there's a lot of stuff to talk about. But I don't want to go over the time, man. We'll be right back, man. If you haven't had an opportunity to watch Banshee Season 2 finale, Bullets and Tears, stop listening now. Major spoilers, here we go. Tonight's episode of Banshee is the best of the series. It is the best season finale I've ever seen for any show. And I just love how everything came full circle, man. And not only full circle just in Season 2, it came full circle from Season 1 all the way to the end of Season 2, and then we know that Season 3 begins a new chapter. We got introduced to new characters tonight, or a new character. His name is Fat Al, and it's Fatau. Favorite quote from him, man. Oh, honey, if I wasn't so smitten, I'd be insulted. I love that, man. It was just... This was in response, man, of Carrie, man, how she was just, she didn't know who the guy was. This guy knew Lucas Hood prior to him becoming Lucas Hood. He knew the original Lucas Hood. And what's kind of interesting now, man, is to know, how do you want to say, how can I say this? How can I say this? Lucas Hood is not Lucas Hood. We know he's somebody else. But does Carrie know who Lucas Hood is? That's the question. All right. Now, check this out, man. The guy named Fat Al, he knows Lucas, and he called him Soldier Boy. He says, Soldier Boy, back from the dead. And then Carrie, you know, later on in the episode, or a couple minutes later, she actually says, "Were you in the army?" He says, "Not in the army." He said, "Not in the army, not exactly." And then after that, we don't know what else. We don't know anything else about besides that. I mean, that's all we know as far as any nods to Lucas's past, which obviously are going to play in the future, man. At the end of the episode, or towards the end of the episode, as they're seeing the closing the file or the case on Rabbit's death and opening up I guess you can say, murder or homicide. It does look like a suicide, so obviously they're closing that file. Or closing that case, but the agent Broner, he has a file in his hand that has a picture of Lucas Hood, but it doesn't have a name. It just has, I think it says, 6'1", 170 pounds. It has his arrest little thing that they put up in front of you with a little, I guess you could say, like a code for whatever type of arrest it was, and you know, his inmate number, stuff like that. And what I kind of really am interested to see is if he was in the army, like, what was he doing? Was it special forces? Because the dude can fight. I mean, he has so many different skills, man. But we'll see that later on in season 3. I just kind of loved how they did the backstory on this, man. All right. We're going to go directly now, man, and start talking about the church shootout, man. The church shootout was, oh my gosh, man, one of the best shootouts I've seen on television, man, because one thing that Cinemax does successfully with Banshee is cinematography, man, and it's perfection. When you go and you watch a movie, you expect it to be, you know, movie quality. But when you watch a TV show, you don't really expect that, you know, as much, man. I guess you can say nowadays you do with, you know, things like HBO, stuff like that, yeah. But this quality is just crazy, all right? If you remember the movie The Matrix, obviously, End of Days with Arnold Schwarzenegger, remember Bad Boys? It had that feel, it had that vibe to it, man. Slow motion, man. They had this bullet time. Tonight's episode was just crazy. It kind of just showed, I think, just, you know, they just released all their arsenal and said, you know what, hey, here's a couple more things we can do. All right, our team, you know, our Banshee Cinemax team, we can slow down time. We can make you cry, and then make you laugh, and then make you cry again, and then make you laugh, and then make you just want to, I don't know, break your computer screen in half, and set fire to your house because you just witnessed mayhem on television, okay? That's what they can do, all right? The church scene, here's what happens, man. Lucas and Carrie, man, they decide that they're going to get Rabbit. They're going to go kill Rabbit. That is the point. That is the purpose, the mission, the motivation, the direction. That's everything that they said they were going to do. It's going to happen today. And either I die or you die. That's it. That's the only options, man. They go into the church, man, guns blazing. They shoot like, I don't know, 5 or 6 people, 5 or 6 little guards, little rabbit guards. And then they get into the church and they see Ulrich, who was the brother of Rabbit, the now deceased Rabbit. But prior to Rabbit dying, you know, he was alive and he was hearing all this in the back of the church. They're shooting out in the church, man. They go up there, they approach Ulrich. Ulrich gives them a little bitty tiny speech, man, and says, you know, how can you possibly win when I have this? And then all of a sudden you see, I don't know, 15 to 20 dudes come out with AK-47s locked and loaded, and all of a sudden, man, like, you think this is the end, man. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. And this is what I love about Cinemax and I love about Banshee is that I thought that this was the end, man. I thought that, oh my gosh, you know, obviously, you know, the main characters are Anna and Lucas. That is it. But the show could go on. Like I said, the show is so great with its cast that it doesn't matter if it's the first string, second string, third string actors, whatever you want to call them. Every single actor on here can act. If Brock was leading the show, yeah, it would be very frustrating, but it would still be a good show. He's still a good actor. And he's still a great character, even though you get so frustrated with him. If Sugar Bates was running the show, it would be absolutely hilarious. I watch that 9,000 times a day because it's just that funny. It could be like a bar show. You see what I'm saying? Every character has a purpose. All of a sudden, man, the soldiers, man, Ulrich, he pretty much just walks away, goes and disappears. And you're like, oh man, well, Ulrich just got away. I guess, you know, man, they're gonna either hunt him down later on. He's gonna go to season 3. Something's gonna happen, and then all of a sudden you see the guards that Rabbit has, they start firing, man. And you're talking about, I don't know, thousands of bullets firing, man. And, you know, Lucas and Carrie, they dive, man. They dive after they talk for a couple seconds. They're like, you know, we said that when we come in here for a mission. You know, either I die or you die. You know what I'm saying? And what I mean by I die is either they, Lucas and Carrie, die or Rabbit dies. They dive to the floor, man. They start, you know, trying to scramble, trying to find cover, you know, and they're shooting and firing back. And Carrie's on the floor. She's crawling. There's wood pieces and chips and stuff flying around her because they're shooting up all the benches inside of the church. Lucas goes behind this pillar, and it's just straight out the Matrix, man. It's like, you know, bullet time. Bullet time, man. The pillars are starting to come down. Lucas and Carrie, man, they finally meet up, and they're behind these two pillars that are kind of holding up the church, obviously. And the guys are just sitting there, man. They're shooting nonstop. They won't stop shooting, man. There's just nothing but bullets going on right now and firing. And then all of a sudden, man, you get this flashback sequence, man. And it's flashback sequence of Carrie and Lucas when they're inside of their diamond mission, or their diamond heist, their job. And it shows them, you know, if you hadn't had an opportunity to watch Banshee's Bullets and Tears Season 2 finale, stop listening now. Major spoilers. Here we go. My podcast cut off. Sorry about that. Let's go ahead and pick up right where I left off on part 2. So here we go. Behind the pillars that are holding up the church, man, Carrie and Lucas are on the ground. They're right next to each other. And all of a sudden, man, this flashback sequence happens to where you get to see Lucas and Carrie when they are at their diamond heist mission. And it seems like there's no hope, man. The only hope that there is to die. You can't surrender because they're going to kill you. That's what they were told by Ulrich. And they're firing. They're continuing to fire, man. Fire, fire, fire. There's nothing but just bullet time going around them. Everything kind of slow motion. You can feel like you can hear the heartbeat. You can feel the emotion. You can feel just no hope, man. There's a loss of hope, man. Lucas looks at Carrie and he can see the fear in her eyes, man. And, you know, obviously his whole entire mission on Earth, man, is just to protect her, man. Okay, he loves her, and he makes the decision that I'm going to distract them, and you just run, okay. And Carrie's trying to tell him, no, don't do it. You know, this is crazy. It's suicide or whatever. And Lucas says, you know, hey, I love you. And he kisses her, man. And after that, you see him get up, and then he takes off running. Now check this out. He takes off running. They have no bullets because Carrie and Lucas went inside there, guns blazing, with 9mm and Glocks and maybe a Desert Eagle, if you will. And they're out of bullets. Okay. Ulrich's guys, Rabbit's guys, his soldiers, they have full clips of AK-47 bullets, man. Okay, so they're good to go. Rabbit is out back listening to all this happening. Lucas gets up, he starts running, he pulls out a knife. Yeah, he pulls out a knife. He took a knife to a gunfight. He takes off running towards these guys, and everything just slows down, man. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, you know what? I'll absolutely, if this happens, if Lucas Hood dies right here, I'm going to get in my car, I'm going to drive 1,000 miles per hour, and I'll crash into a wall to die a violent death. And the reason why I say that is because it's so frustrating sitting here not knowing. It's the unknown of this show. But it's so brilliant because you care about the characters, and the only thing that you want is to help them out, but you can't do anything. So the only thing that you can do is die, okay? What ends up happening, man, the speed picks back up, and then Lucas is running. You know, he has his knife in his hand. The guys start turning their weapons towards Lucas, you know what I'm saying, readjusting their fire to start shooting at Lucas. Then all of a sudden, man, you hear this, I don't even know what it is. It seems like a 50 cal. It seems like a 50 cal machine gun, Tech 9, Glocks. I mean, you hear all these just, and all of a sudden you see Ulrich's guys, man, Rabbit soldiers, man, they're falling to the ground, man. There's blood everywhere. And then Lucas turns around, and it's Job. It's this new guy, man, this Fat Owl and his men. And they just saved They just saved Lucas Hood's life. And I don't even really know what to say besides that, man. You're just sit there and you're cheering. You're just like, yes! You know, you're just screaming because Lucas is alive, man. That's the point. You're just like, oh my gosh, man. And obviously, man, it's Job, man. It's Job. He comes to the rescue. And it's crazy, man, because Job says, prior to them going to the church, he says, how will I know if you're alive? And he says, if we don't come back in the morning, you'll know that we're dead. And Job says, well, how am I supposed to sleep knowing that? You know? And he shows up, man. He shows up. I guess he knew, exactly where they're going to be at. He knows what he has to do. And he knew Fat Al, man. Now, let me go back for a second, man, to kind of show you how you say it. Whenever Job and Lucas, they kind of first meet, or when Job, Lucas, and Carrie first meet, I think that's a better way of saying it. Once they find out that they're going to the diamond heist, and they're going to do that job, Lucas, first off, he tells Rabbit it's insane, nobody should do this, it's suicide. It's like you're going to get caught. I think he knew that. Anyway, he goes and he finds Job, and Job is at this cabaret club, and you get to see Job sing, man, and he's singing, he's dancing, man. He has makeup on and a huge dress, man. It's really awesome, man. That scene, because there's a guy in the bar and he's hounding, Job, and Job picks up the mic, and you can just see that was like the first time that his character gets to kind of express himself, man. And it was just perfect because he held his own on the stage. Anyway, the dude that was hounding him comes up there, he's like, I'm going to kick your face off or whatever. And then Job's like, honey, you couldn't do this if you wanted. And the dude starts approaching the steps of the stage, man, and Job slaps him in the face, man, grabs his head, slams it against this rail. And then you're introduced to Job, okay? And then after that, Job gives Carrie and Lucas, man, their passports and all their identification to last them for a lifetime. He gives them, new identities, all this good stuff. And then we see them, go to the heist, and the rest of that stuff happens. But then also we flash forward back, and now we see how, the relationship between Job, Carrie, and Lucas Hood, how that all comes together and why they're so close and that they'll risk their lives for each other. Brilliant. I absolutely love that, man. Now we know that, just kind of sum everything up, man. Lucas Hood is now known as Soldier Boy. That's going to be his I guess alias for season 3, man. Moving forward, we have a new character called Fat Al. That's the guy that knows Lucas Hood. We'll get to probably see more of him in season 3. We know that Rabbit's brother Ulrich is dead. We do also know, obviously, that Ulrich is dead, and we got to see him come back for tonight's season finale. We also got to see the return of the albino inside of prison. Just a really amazing scene. Just want to say that because it was still terrifying seeing the albino. Even though the albino was dead, it was just terrifying seeing him on screen again. Just wow. That was just kind of showing you the reach of Rabbit and seeing that. Then we know that Rabbit is officially dead tonight. That takes us to... Well, before I go there, I don't want to go there yet because, like I said, I'm going to get extremely sad talking about this incident that happened tonight, man. But in order for me to go anywhere, I have to talk about it. So I guess I'm pretty much just out of room. So, but before I do that, let's talk about the end of the Banshee finale. You know what? I can't even do that, man. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to have to stop right here. We're going to start a brand new podcast, and we'll start talking about Emmett. We'll start talking about Emmett and Long Shadow, Alex. Yeah, this is gonna be sad, man. I'll be right back. If you haven't had an opportunity to watch Banshee season 2 finale, Bullets and Tears, stop listening now. Major spoilers. Here we go. To sum up everything, Ulrich, the brother of Rabbit, is dead. Rabbit is dead. There is a new character named Fat Al. That's Fatau. He knows who Lucas Hood is, and he identifies or calls him Soldier Boy. Lucas and Carrie are the ones that killed Rabbit. And what I mean by that is that Rabbit took his own life because Carrie left him no other option. She gave him a weapon or a gun, pistol, loaded with one bullet in the chamber, and Lucas just stood there and watched as Carrie walked away, and then Rabbit took his own life. We get this situation going on, man, between Rabbit and Lucas Hood that kind of like is a little bit of foreshadowing to the future of Banshee. And here's what he said. He says, "You look at me and remember somewhere in the future there's a bench just like this one waiting for you." And Rabbit dies on that bench after he blows his brains out. And that's the future of Lucas Hood, man. Because he can't get out of this situation that he's in. They want to escape it, but they can't because it's who they are. Now, let's talk about Rebecca and Alex Longshadow. Rebecca visits Alex Longshadow, man, inside of his Kanaho office, man, in the tribe office, man. And I don't even know what she was doing there, man. I know there was some tension, between Alex and Rebecca. And it's kind of hard, man, to talk about this because it's like, how did this happen, man? It's like, when did Rebecca become such a badass? Let's go ahead and say it like that. Rebecca decides, man, that she is officially part of Kai Proctor's movement, man. She's officially head over heels for her uncle, man. Oh my gosh. See, it's hard to talk about Rebecca's character, because listen, man, let's just do it. Let's get through it, okay? She goes and she talks to Alex Longshadow. And when I say talk, she seduces him. And what ends up happening as a result of that is the death of Alex Longshadow. She kills him violently, man, with a stab in the neck. And here's what happens, man. Alex Longshadow gets stabbed in the neck. And before he gets stabbed, he says, "You can't kill me. I'm the Thunder Man." And once again, everything comes full circle in Banshee, man. And all of a sudden, she stabs him in the neck, man. And then she begins to shoot him. Now, as she's shooting him, man, we get this... Man, it's so hard to talk about this, man, because this sucks. We get this night footage of Emmett and Meg Yonners, man. They're starting their new life, man. They're on the road to their new location, man. And their new location is in Virginia. All right, and it looks like they should be heading towards Florida. That was their relocation for what Emmett said he was going to do. And it's just sad, man. It's really sad, man. What ends up happening, man, there's this black van that pulls up as Emmett and his wife come from getting something to eat. It looks like ice cream or some kind of groceries, man, something like that. And this black van pulls up. It's pretty much just an unmarked black van. It looks like it's spray painted black. It's a suspect van. And at this point, man, I don't know, my heart pretty much just stopped, man. It sunk to the bottom of my stomach, and I couldn't breathe, man. Because I kind of knew what was happening right there. I kind of knew that this is the end, man. And even Emmett's character, man, on screen, you get to see, he looks at the van, and his first instinct, man, is to try to protect his wife. The van door slides open. You get to see this guy, man. He has a semi-automatic weapon, man. He picks it up. He puts Emmett inside of his sights, and he just starts firing, man. He probably fired, 50 to 60 rounds, and everything's slow motion, man. While Emmett is dying and being shot up, Rebecca is shooting Alex Longshadow. And when Rebecca hits Alex Longshadow with this shot in between, not in between the eyes, but just directly in the forehead, the middle of his forehead, boom, he's dead. He starts falling down. Well, at that same exact time, man, they're cutting back and forth, between Alex Longshadow and Emmett is falling to the ground. As soon as Alex Longshadow hits the ground and he's done, completely descending into death, Emmett is hitting the ground and he's dying. And it's like it's so sad, man, just to, I mean, and how do you want to, I don't even know how to really word it. That's why I'm saying it's so frustrating, because I was talking about this, I was tweeting about this, man, last week. I said, you want justice, man. You want justice for any type of wrong that is done to a person. But what is justice? You know what I'm saying? What is justice? Is justice an eye for an eye? Because if it is an eye for an eye, then you know that an eye for an eye is an eye for an eye, and it will continue on. If you kill someone or you seek revenge because someone did something wrong to you, and you don't seek out the proper channels, you don't let the law take care of it. You take justice into your own hand, just like Lucas Hood was saying, that justice sometimes has to be handled through your or by yourself, through your own hands. And I'm like, that's crazy talk, because if you kill someone, you've killed someone. That's someone's brother, someone's mother, someone's father, someone's son, someone's daughter, someone's nephew. It belongs to somebody. Someone has some type of memory of that person. And it's going to come back to you and haunt you, man. And that's what happened tonight, man. The guy that was in the van had a distinct tattoo on his lower, by his left eye, almost towards the cheekbone of his left eye. And it looked like a Nazi SS symbol. I'm pretty sure it was Nazism, man. I'm almost positive that this was a Nazi, but it wasn't a skinhead. I think it was just maybe the brother of someone. The tattoo looked a little bit old. It looked like it was there for a little bit of time. And I know that there was just two markings. It looked like an SS symbol. I'm pretty sure that's who it was, because that's the only thing that that Emmett would have any type of beef or drama with, you know what I'm saying? And that was the only retaliation that could be justified, from that. How they found him, I don't know. Were they following him the whole time? I don't know, man. Obviously, once that skinhead, man, Sharp, once he died, someone had to mourn for him. Someone had to bury him. Are those the guys, man? But they shot him down. They shot Meg down, and then he was like, "Go, go, go!" And they took off. They sped off, man. And I don't know what's gonna happen on that, man. Now here's the thing, man. Yonners is gonna have his family mourning now. Same thing with Meg, you know what I'm saying? So are we gonna get more characters? Are we gonna get, I don't know where we're gonna go with this, but I know that once Lucas Hood finds out, because all he knows right now, as all this is happening, he doesn't know about the death of Alex Longshadow. Neither does Nola. She doesn't know either. And we know the last time that we seen Nola was with the death of that girl, that Kanaho girl, and she was heated. She was very upset. And the last time that Alex and Nola talked, Alex pretty much told Nola to just leave, because your way of doing things aren't the right way or whatever. And she even told him about Rebecca. She said that. So I don't know, man. I don't know, man. It's just that's how good this show is, man. It's a really great show, man. Really great show. Deputy Kelly informed Lucas Hood, man, about Emmett. All she said is that Emmett left today. Well, Emmett left today, and Emmett also died today. Alex Longshadow, man, and Emmett are gone. Rabbit is gone. Ulrich is gone. A lot of characters, man. They're just, I can't believe it, man. I mean, I knew it was gonna happen. We can't continue on these seasons, with the entire full cast, man. But I just didn't know it was gonna happen like this, man. I really didn't expect that, man. The episode ends, man, on this kind of a sad note because, you know, Lucas and Carrie, they're driving back to Banshee. You know, the situation with Rabbit has been resolved. And as they're riding back, you start seeing this flashback, almost like in a Banshee Origins type of way, where they show a young Carrie and a young Gordon entering Banshee for the first time. And as they're showing you this, they flash back to Lucas and Carrie's hand. They're holding hands. And once the flashback between Gordon and Carrie, once it ends, Gordon says, it's not a strange town. It's just a town. You know, we'll make our future here together. And then all of a sudden, man, Lucas lets go of Carrie's hand. And then we see that Carrie is now at Gordon's house, man. And she looks back at Lucas one time. And then Gordon lets her in and she walks in, and then the door closes and you can hear it. It's a distinct sound of a door closing. It's loud. It's not just soft. It's not like something. It's closed. Like the door's closed. That chapter is closed. And they're moving on. You know, Banshee is moving on from that. And then what ends up happening is that Lucas Hoodman, he stays in front of Carrie's house for just probably about maybe 15 seconds. And he readjusts like his rearview mirror, and it's no longer focusing on the past, it's focusing on him, the present time. And then he drives off. He drives over to the bar, you know, where Sugar Bates is waiting. Sugar Bates is over there dropping that street knowledge, you know, like he always does, that wisdom. And he says, you know, where are you heading to now? What's next? He says, I got to visit someone. And then Sugar says, the deputy? And he says, you sure you want to do that? And then Lucas says, yeah. And then he arrives at Deputy Kelly's trailer, man. And then she finally, man, breaks down, you know, the walls, man, that Lucas Hood has. And they're an item, I guess you can say now, man. So I don't know how I feel about that, man. I don't know. I mean, obviously, I think, you know, everybody wants, you know, Lucas and Carrie to be together, man. But is it a toxic relationship? Are they good for one another? We don't know, man. But obviously, man, you're talking about, you know, Lucas was in Hood for like 15 years, man. And he was in prison. He was in there. He was in the slammer, man. And within 15 years, you know what I'm saying, Carrie and Gordon, man, they built a brand new life together. So you can't just expect them to just give that up. But then again, man, you're like, you know, what about Lucas, man? I don't know, man. The episode finally ends. It ends officially, man, with Dava coming into Lucas Hood's office. This is after Brock puts down the sheriff's badge back on Lucas Hood's desk and says, till next time. And then Lucas picks up the badge and says, till next time. And then Dava walks in. She says, Lucas says, hey, Dava. And then Dava, you know, looking really worried and scared, she says, hello, Dad. And then that's it. The episode ends. And you're sitting here like, you're like, what? So hopefully, you know what I'm saying, like the season 1 episode picks up from that point right there. All right. So the season 1 episode for season 3, episode 1 episode picks up there. Okay. Season 3, episode 1 picks up from right there. You know, hello, Dava. Hello, Dad. And then they start talking. Okay. Now, everybody knows, man, by now that there is a either after credit scene, before credit scene, post credit scene, some type of clip is going to be shown after the episode of Banshee ends. Okay. And tonight it wasn't any difference, man. It was the exact same formula, which is a successful formula, which I hope that they keep for the rest of the entire existence of Banshee. And we get to see this parish down in New Orleans, and it's like this fight club, it looks like. And there's only one person that we know that is strong enough inside of Banshee's universe, one character that we know of that could ever succeed in such a place. And one of them is Lucas Hood. Could definitely succeed inside of a fight club. Another one is the Bowtie Man. Another one would be Kai Proctor. But those characters are not going to be seen inside of such an environment like that. There's no way they're going to be inside there. And obviously we just seen them within the episode. All of a sudden, man, we know that one character in particular, man, is a character that struck fear in the hearts of many people. And there was one of them. There was the albino and the Kanaho's answer, or the Native American answer to the albino, and that is Peyton, man. And now with this dude, he's back, man, and he's huge, man. I mean, like we oh my gosh, man. I think we hadn't seen him in probably like maybe 4-5 episodes, and now he's back, man. He gets a call on his cell phone, and he says Alex Longshadow was dead. And he's like, and these guys are behind him. A couple of other Native Americans. They're like, where are we heading to? He's like, back home. And then that's it. Boom. Credits hit. They start running. The music starts coming in. So yeah, man, this huge beast is coming back home to Banshee to, I don't even know what to say, man. But obviously, one, he's going to investigate and try to find out who killed Alex. That's going to lead him back to Rebecca, and that's going to lead him straight into Kai Proctor's. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's that crazy, man. It's that crazy, okay? Before I leave, man, the relationship between Kai Proctor and Rebecca is officially official. That's all I'm going to say about that. Moving on. Season 3 is probably going to come back in 2015. And I can't wait. I can't wait to whenever they announce the season 2 Blu-ray. If it's going to be a box set, is it going to be a collectible, stuff like that, man. I'll let you guys know if I find out anything about that as far as the date for when that's released, man. I'll definitely be picking that up day one. It's been a great season, man. I enjoyed live chatting, man, and tweeting, man, about all this stuff, man. It was kind of cool, man. I mean, especially the live tweets, man. That was awesome. I enjoyed the podcast this season, man. And I will continue these, man. I'll continue these on throughout the existence of Banshee. And I hope you guys enjoy the show, man, as much as I did. For all you Fanshees out there, man, make sure you check out Cinemax shop and go get the t-shirts, all that stuff, man. Buy all that stuff up, man. And that's it, man. I'm going to keep rewatching Banshee until next year, man. And I'm probably going to be talking about this again. I'll probably upload another podcast kind of going over everything, the entire season and the entire, from season 1 to season 2, man. So look for that. And let me know what you think, man. Comment. And thanks again for listening. And sorry that was so long. I think that was almost 2 hours, man. Right here.